Hey guys, this is a guide about how to approach Tourney in the fog, and I want to show you the one build, the build that I actually use to clear this, and it is all based around boosting your basic incantations as much as you possibly can. But first of all, I want to remind you that in case you miss a card and you need a card that you don't have, the way you get access to this card is you can go into your Fame card binder, and here you can salvage and craft everything you don't need and everything you need. For example, you can just salvage all these blue cards here. Everything that has a blue background, you can just feel free to salvage them all to obtain the resources to then, if you scroll down, you see here the cards that you don't have, and you can craft anything that you need for your build in case you miss something. So that's about that. Now let's move on to the build that I want to showcase right here. And as I said, this is all about boosting your basic incantations as much as you possibly can. So let's start off by looking at the bread and butter for the setup first. And the bread and butter for this setup is the Vertin card here, a Vibrant Error. So what this card does is, at the start of each round, we convert all our incantations into precast incantations, and we grant rank +1 rank to all of them. And after an allied character casts an incantation, a rank 2 or rank 3 incantation, but yeah, remember, since we increase the rank of all our incantations anyways, all our incantations will be rank 2 or rank 3. So after an ally casts an incantation, their incantations gain plus 30% damage dealt for this round, and this is stackable. So how to use this? You want to cast as many incantations with your main DPS character as possible, because the first incantation you cast deals the damage that it normally deals. The second one though deals plus 30% damage. The third one deals plus 60% damage, and the fourth one deals plus 90, and so on and so forth. The downside of this card that says we cannot gain access to our ultimates doesn't matter at all. This is not what this build is around. So yeah, let me explain that card one more time in a little bit more detail. So we convert all our incantations into precast incantations, and we raise all of our incantations rank by +1. So why is it good to convert all our incantations into precast incantations? That is because we mainly, and yeah, preferably only, want to use incantations with our main character. And once we have used all of them, the remaining cards in our hand, they don't matter. But since we convert them to precast incantations, those vanish at the end of our turn. And that makes it so that next round we draw an entire new hand, and this increases our odds into drawing as many incantations for our main DPS as possible. And yeah, of course, the more incantations with our main DPS that we use, the more damage they will actually deal, right? You have to watch out that in case you have rank 2 incantations with your main DPS, you want to use them first to then make the rank 3 incantations gain this plus 30, plus 60, plus 90% damage bonus, right? And yeah, that's about it for this card. This is the bread and butter. So yeah, our entire build is based around this card, a Vibrant Error. The second Vertin card that we use is Green Lake Horror, simply because it synergizes and goes perfectly with our main Vertin card, which is a Vibrant Error. So what Green Lake Horror does though, is in the first 3 rounds we gain +2 AP, and we increase our incantation limit by 3. So what does that mean? It means that every round we will be able to use 2 more incantations than usual, and our hand size increases by 3. Again, this goes perfectly with a vibrant era, because we want to use as many incantations per round as possible, and we want to gain access to as many incantations for our main DPS as we can. And Green Lake Horror enables this for us perfectly, right? This is why we use these 2 Verdant cards together. And yeah, it's already, our damage here is already increased by a whole lot. So, with our main setup being covered, let's go and take a look at each individual card that go onto our characters. And yeah, as you will see, the placement of those characters actually matters. You need your main DPS at spot number 4. This is very, very important. Your main DPS, which in my case is Lucy, it has to be all the way to the right here in the slot number 4. And you will see soon why that is. So on your first on your first character, on the character in slot number 1, you use For the King. So what that card does is, when entering battle, you grant 5 stacks of Unsparing to ally number 4. See, this is the first reason why your main DPS has to be at slot number 4. So what does Unsparing do? Very simple, it increases your damage dealt by 5%. Since you grant 5 stacks of this immediately, you increase your damage by 25%. So already our main DPS does 25% more damage. Then the character in slot number 2 uses the card Deep Conversation. What this card does is, at the end of the round, if allied characters have casted 2 or more incantations for the round, you grant Meteor Blessing to yourself for 1 round. Meteor Blessing says, when a round begins, all incantations gain +1 rank. Exactly what we want. This one actually guarantees that every incantation of ours is rank 3. So yeah, it boosts our damage output by even further, by a huge amount actually, because all our incantations are now completely maxed out. The character in the 3rd slot uses the card Have a Drink. What it does is, when entering battle and at the start of every 2 rounds thereafter, adjacent allies gain incantation rank +1 for all their incantations. Again, this boosts our incantation even further, and it makes it so that all our incantations are guaranteed to be rank number 3 instead of like 2 or something, right? We always want our basic incantations to be fully maxed out, and this increases our chance of doing so even further. So now we have increased our the damage that our main DPS will do by a ridiculous amount, and we make sure that all our incantations are fully maxed out when it comes to rank, right? All our incantations will always be 3-star. So your main DPS, which is in slot number 4, takes the card Enigmatic Riddle. What that does is, when attacking with an incantation, your damage dealt is +20%. If holding 5 or more stacks of Unsparing, which, remember, we exactly hold 5 stacks of Unsparing, then our incantations gain an additional damage dealt by 40%. And this card is only available to, you guessed it, for the ally, for your character in slot number 4. And that is, yeah, that's the build, right? It's all about increasing your basic incantations for your main DPS as much as you possibly can. And that's what the entire build is about, and our Lucy, in my case Lucy, your main DPS, will now deal a ridiculous amount of damage. I will showcase this in just a second. You can of course use any character which deals damage with their basic incantations, right? Just make sure that you don't use anything as your main DPS that uses like buffs or debuffs, right? I think this is needless to explain. Also, you don't want to use a character that excels at dealing his most damage with his ultimate ability. You want a character here that deals as much damage as possible with just the basic incantations. And that's the build. I use Lucy because, yeah, Lucy excels at her basic incantations and her ultimate doesn't actually deal any damage, so she doesn't need it, right? And now let's hop into battle and let me show you how ridiculous the damage is that we actually deal.
Program activated.
Yeah, you can see that our hand size increases by 3 and we can use 6 incantations instead of just 4 per turn. And yeah, as you can see, our incantations here are mostly all 3-star incantations, which is exactly what we want. Now, this one here, I got a little bit unlucky because I only drew 2 incantations for my Lucy. Yeah, that is unlucky. There's nothing we can do about it. This is a reason why I add a second DPS character into my team, just in case I don't draw enough incantations for my main DPS. Also, I bring a healer because yeah, usually you will have like 3 or 4 incantations ready with your main DPS, and yeah, having a little heal in the back is not too shabby, but mostly you just want to focus on dealing as much damage as possible, and that's what we're gonna do. So I use every single incantation I have available for you, Lucy. Since I only have 2, I use my second damage dealer to deal, yeah, as well the damage and to fill all slots to use all the incantations I can in this round. And you can see the damage that Lucy deals here is absolutely ridiculous. She like almost cleared both of these enemies all on her own, right? And there you go. Yeah, this is the most difficult stage I can show you, because World 6 in this UTTU challenge will unlock in like 2 or 3 days. I'm not entirely sure. Let me check real quick. Yeah, it unlocks in 3 days, and then we will be here talking again. Until this unlocks, I will showcase you more really broken builds, like really broken combinations of cards for more teams. Like a poison team is really good to cover here as well, because poison is really relevant in the meta, as yeah, the character Willow excels at it and just got released. So I will make a build about using ultimates and so on and so forth. You will see in my upcoming videos. But yeah, for this, that's it for this video right here. If you like reverse 1999 content in general, please consider leaving a follow on my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until next time, take care of yourselves, have a great day, and bye bye.